Welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about lines. A line is a set of all points that follow the same constant rate of change. The slope, which we denote m of the line, is going to be the constant rate of change. It's going to be the measure of direction and steepness of the line. For any 2 points, x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, y sub 2 on the line, the slope can be found by thinking about the rise over the run, where the rise is the change in y's, which is y sub 2 minus y sub 1, and the run, which is the change in x's, is the x sub 2 minus x sub 1. We want to find the slope of the line through the points 3, -4, and -2, 8. I'm going to label 3, -4 is the x sub 1, y sub 1 point, and the other one is the x sub 2, y sub 2 point. So then we can find the slope using the formula that we talked about. So our y sub 2, 8, minus the y sub 1, -4, over the x sub 2, -2, minus the x sub 1, 3. And so we'll end up with 8 minus a -4 minus a -4 is going to be 8 plus 4, so that'll be 12. On the bottom, we get -5, which is the same thing as -12 fifths. If we graph the points, then we can come up with our line. So 3, -4 will give us this point. -2, 8 will give us this point. And so then the line would look like this. Now, if you notice, the slope was negative. The line is falling as you go from left to right. And that will be typical of a slope of a line with a slope that's negative. If the slope is positive, then the line will be rising as you go from left to right. Now, there are different forms of lines that we can make use of. The first one is what's called standard form, ax plus by equals c. In this one, a, b, and c are constants. Typically, they'll be written as integers with a being positive. These are useful for systems of equations and finding intercepts. If we have the line 4x minus 3y equals 12, we're going to find the intercepts of this line, and then we will graph the line. To find the x-intercept, you're going to set y equals 0 and solve for x. So we'll have 4x minus 3 times 0 equals 12. So you get 4x is equal to 12. So x is equal to 3 when you divide both sides by 4. So the x-intercept will be 3, 0. To find the y-intercept, you will set the x equal to 0 and solve for y. So we'll get 4 times 0 minus 3y is equal to 12. So we get minus 3y equal 12. So y will be equal to -4 when you divide by -3. So we'll have 0, -4 for the y-intercept. Now when we graph these, 3, 0 will be that point. 0, -4. And we can connect those to give us our line, which will be that. So that's the line 4x minus 3y equals 12. Another form of the line we can make use of is the point slope form, which states y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. In this case, your m is the slope of the line, and x sub 1, y sub 1 is any point on the line. This is going to be useful for writing an equation of a line when you know the slope at any point, or if you know any 2 points on the line. And so what you would simply do there is you would find the slope, and then you could use the slope with either of the 2 points. So for this one, we want to find the equation of the line through the points 2, 7, and -4, -3. So first off, we got to find the slope. Using the first point as the x sub 1, y sub 1. So y sub 2 is -3 minus the y sub 1, which is -7, over x sub 2, which is -4, minus the x sub 1, which is 2. And so we end up with -10 over -6, which will be positive 5/3. Use that with either of the points. I'm going to use the first one, y minus y sub 1, 7, equals 5 divided by 3. then x minus x sub 1, 2. And so now when we multiply the 5/3 through, we get 5/3 x minus 5/3 times 2 will be minus 10/3. And so then we can add a 7 to both sides. 7 in terms of thirds is equal to 21/3. So we'll get y equals 5/3 x plus 21/3 minus 10/3 is going to be 11/3. And so for this one, we can graph 2, 7. Then we can graph -4, -3. And then once again, we can connect those to give us the line. You will notice this line is rising as you go from left to right, so because it's got a positive slope. You'll also notice the 11/3 is where it's crossing the y-axis, which that gets us to the next form of the line. The next form is what's called the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, where your m is the slope and the b is the y-coordinate of the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is 0b. This is where the line crosses the y-axis. This is useful for graphing the line and easily finding the slope and the y-intercept of the line. So we want to find the equation of the line with a slope of -3/2 that passes through the point 0, -5. Our slope -3/2, and then the b is going to be -5. So just simply plug those into the slope-intercept form. Y equals m, which is -3/2 x plus the b, which is -5. And so that'll end up giving us y equals -3/2 x minus 5. And so we can come over to our graph the y-intercept, 0, -5. Making use of our idea that the slope, -3/2, is the rise over the run. You can think about this as 3 over -2 or -3 over +2. Then to get the next point, we're either going to go up 3 and to the left 2, or we can go down 3 and to the right 2. We'll end up getting a line that looks be like that. And so that would be the line y equals -3/2 x minus 5. Now, special types of lines that we can look at. A horizontal line is a line with all points having the same y-coordinate. The slope is going to be 0. We will write this as y equals 4. We'll write it something like y equals 4. Vertical line is a line with all points having the same x-coordinate. The slope will be undefined. We'll write this one in the form like x equals -3. So we want to find the equations of the vertical and horizontal line passing through the point 6, -3, and then we're going to graph the two lines. For the vertical line, we simply do the x equals the x-coordinate 6. For the horizontal line, we'll do y equals the y-coordinate -3. So to graph, we'll graph the vertical line first, x equals 6. Then the horizontal line, y equals -3, would look like that. And where they cross is the point 6, -3. Some special types of lines that we can work with. First one is parallel lines. They have slopes that are equal, so the slope of the first line will be equal to the slope of the second, so m sub 1 will be equal to m sub 2. Perpendicular lines will have slopes that are negative reciprocals of each other. And so that just simply means the slope of the first will be negative 1 over the slope of the second. So m sub 1 will be equal to negative 1 over m sub 2. Or if you take the product of the two slopes, m sub 1 times m sub 2, they will be equal to negative 1. So for this one, we're going to find the equation of the parallel and perpendicular lines to the line y equals 3/4 x plus 6 that passes through the point 3, negative 2, and then we'll graph the lines. Let's do the work with the parallel line first. So the parallel line, the slope of our line is 3/4, so parallel line will have the same slope, and then we can use the point 3, negative 2. So y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So y minus negative 2 is equal to 3/4 x minus 3. So y plus 2 is equal to 3/4 x minus 9/4. So we want to subtract 2 from both sides, and 2 will be equal to 8/4. So we'll end up with y equals 3/4 x 3/4 x minus 9/4 minus 18/4 will be minus 17/4. Now do the same thing with the perpendicular line. Slope for it will be the negative reciprocal, so flip the 3/4 and make a negative, negative 4/3. Then using the point slope form again, y minus a negative 2 is going to be equal to negative 4/3 times x minus 3. So y plus 2 is equal to negative 4/3 x, and minus 4/3 times minus 3 will give us a plus 12/3. So this time when we subtract 2 from both sides, 2 is the same thing as 6/3. So we'll get y equals negative 4/3 x. 12/3 minus 6/3 will end up giving us a plus 6/3, which 6/3 is the same thing as 2. So we end up negative 4/3 x plus 2. Now to graph these, we've got the 3, negative 2. The first line, the y-intercept is negative 17/4, which is just a little beyond the negative 4. So we're going to end up with a line that looks like that. Y equals 3/4 x minus 17/4. Notice it does have a positive slope. For the perpendicular line, the y-intercept is 2. We connect that with the point 3, negative 2. We'll get a line that looks like that. That'll be y equals negative 4/3 x plus 2. You'll notice that these were crossing at a right angle, and that's what we want with perpendicular and parallel lines. Now if we add in the original line, y equals 3/4 x plus 6, the purple line here, you see that it is parallel to the blue line and it's perpendicular to the green, so it's crossing at a right angle to that one. So that is a lesson in lines. If you have any questions, leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next video.